All right, so I thought of this idea right now. Before you guys dislike the video and write a bunch of nasty comments, just hear me out. Let's all try to, keep an open mind about this idea that I'm going to share with you guys. Okay, so many of us often will complain about the meta, right? And I have a different video following this. I think it's actually going to be my next upload. But first, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure you check out my links down below where I'm streaming every single day on Twitch. Can't wait to see you there. This is the biggest thing. PUBG Mobile clearly recognizes that there needs to be a shift in the meta. There needs to be a swing because nobody wants a stale game. All right, we want things that are new and exciting and that will change the overall way that that we'll play the game as it progresses over time, right? I think we all can agree on that. If that wasn't the case, PUBG Mobile would not be constantly buffing and or nerfing other weapons, but clearly leaving one type of weapon alone, which is any of the 5.56 weapons. We've seen buffs to everything. DMRs. The most recent buff was sniper rifles. We've seen buffs to SMGs, shotguns. If they didn't want, or if they thought that where the weapons were, that it was fair and balanced, there wouldn't be buffs and nerfs to other weapons, and more buffs than anything. Very rarely are we seeing many nerfs these days. So I think we all can agree on that. We all recognize that there needs to be some sort of a change in the meta. The full spray meta, as much as us that like it, not many people who are on the other end of that, like say you're getting sprayed from 200 meters away, you're getting lasered by an M4 or an AUG. It's not the best feeling. We also recognize when we're talking about crates that because of the different events in the game, whether you're going to an event hot drop, whether you're going to one of the vending machines, you're picking up level 3 gear, people aren't going to airdrops as much, right? And we already know how hard it is to already find a flare gun. Now that I've kind of I know I talk a lot, but I needed to kind of set up the context before what I'm about to say before you dislike the video. What would you guys think if because to make snipers and DMRs more effective, it's very difficult when everybody's running around with level 3 gear, specifically level 3 helmets, right? When you got a Kar 98, when you got an M24, when you have a Mosin Nagant, unless you have an you cannot one-shot knock or one-shot kill anybody with a headshot. And it makes snipers much more difficult. So what ends up happening, people don't use the sniper rifles and they just do the spray and pray, as many of us call it, right? What if they made it to where level 3 helmets were no longer a world spawn, where the only way you could get a level 3 helmet, notice I said only helmet, not vests, okay? What if they made it to where level 3 helmets would not be world spawn, would not be they are in vending machines, aren't they? Nobody buys them because you find them anyway, but they wouldn't be in vending machines. The only place you could find a level 3 helmet would be in an airdrop. What would that do? What would that do to the meta? Would you start seeing people pick up things like sniper rifles? Would that be in my opinion, just thinking about it, and the reason why I even got this idea in the first place is, as many of you know, I've been plugging it in a lot of my videos, okay, is I've been playing a lot of PUBG, right? Streaming every day on Twitch. Link in the description, shameless plug-in. But in PUBG, there's no level 3 helmets world spawn. The only place you can get a level 3 helmet is in the airdrops. So if you want to have that extra protection, right? Especially in PUBG where the meta is you have to have a DMR or a sniper rifle or you're absolutely screwed. Pushing crates where finding a flare gun is actually going to make a big difference in your game, and you actually will start to reward people, not only when it comes to skill, people who choose to use DMRs and snipers. It's more difficult to single tap than it is to full auto spray. These players should be rewarded. And also players should feel that if they go to an airdrop, that it's actually going to benefit their game. They're the ones that, people going to airdrops, they're the ones that are taking the biggest risks. You know, when that airdrop lands in an open field, or, you know, when you're pushing a drop, though you should definitely be rewarded for putting your game online versus somebody who's just finding level 3 loot all over the place. And people dropping in these POI locations, they're opening up a chest, and, you know, an OM comes out, an MG3, that kind of thing. Pushing a drop should feel rewarding. It needs to feel rewarding. And right now, we're not really getting that. That whole element of the game has been completely removed. All right. Is actually something that you would factor in to your gameplay. Risk versus reward. We're talking about crates, because let's be honest, no one's really pushing airdrops. Yes, I'm sure, you know, there's some of you, but in comparison to what it used to be before the vending machines and before the event hot drops, and you definitely don't need to push airdrops if you get level 3'd out, you know, in the first minute of a match. You'll have absolutely no reason to go to an airdrop. There's no point in them to include a flare because of how readily available crate weapons are and level 3 gear. When it comes to CQC, you'd still find, just like in PUBG, you still find level 3. You can still loot pretty regularly. You can loot level 3 chests. No problem, and that's going to help you a lot, you know, in CQC situations, you know, being sprayed from long range. What I think the level 3 helmets will do the most is it'll do two things. It'll make it to where pushing airdrops or finding a flare gun will actually mean something. It'll actually bring something to the game, which to me seems to kind of been removed. You know, that whole, you know, pushing crates element. The other thing it would do for some people is it'll make it to where you might see a shift in the meta where people will start using things like DMRs and things like sniper rifles, because if you don't have as many people running around with level 3 helmets, you'll with an M24, with a Kar 98, with a Mosin Nagant, you'll be able to one-shot knock or one-shot kill somebody with a headshot. Same thing with DMRs. I think you'll be able to, most DMRs, I believe, can 2-tap somebody. Right now, 3-4 shots, and say, you know, 2 of those are headshots and the person's still up. How many times have you had an SKS, or, well, no one uses SLR, but how many times have you had an SKS or an MK12 or even a mini where you'll hit them 3 or 4 or 5 times? 2 of them are headshots, or at least 1 of them are headshots, and you get, you know, a couple white hit markers after that, and they're still not knocked. What does that do to your psyche? The next map, or in that moment, you'll say, wow, this gun is horrible. I'm never using an SKS or, you know, a Mini 14 again. You know, I hit this guy from 200 meters 5 times, single tap, and they're still up. Because I think that is as much as we all love PUBG Mobile, right? I think most of us, at least watching this video, can agree that the meta at the moment seems a bit stale. We don't, especially when it comes to weapons. What was the newest weapon that even came to the game? What was it, like the AMR? I mean, we're talking like 2 years ago, a year ago, maybe. Let me see. Maybe the Honey Badger was since then. But anyway, nothing groundbreaking has happened with new weapons have come to the game, and I think we all can also agree that the pray and spray seems to, it just, after a while, it just starts to get a little bit stale. I think a change like this could really shake things up, shake things up again. Cannot talk. So what do you guys think, man? Now, I know when we first mentioning it, at the surface, it's an instant no, why would they do that? You know, everyone, you know, has to have a level 3 helmet. What would you, I mean, just really, really think about it. Marinate on this one. Can't wait to read all your guys' comments. I'm a little bit scared, to be honest, about, you know, how the comments are going to look.